Energy has been critical to the human progress we've seen over the last few centuries. But while it brings us massive benefits, it's not without its downsides. In this video we will compare different energy sources, to understand which one has a lower impact on human health and the environment. There are three ways through which the production of energy can affect our health and the environment. The first is air pollution. Millions of people die prematurely every year as a result of air pollution. Fossil fuels and the burning of biomass, wood, dung, and charcoal, are responsible for most of those deaths. The second is accidents. This includes accidents that happen in the mining and extraction of the fuels, coal, uranium, rare metals, oil, and gas. And it also includes accidents that occur in the transport of raw materials and infrastructure, the construction of the power plant, or their maintenance. The third is greenhouse gas emissions. Fossil fuels are the main source of greenhouse gases, the primary driver of climate change. In 2020, 91% of global CO2 emissions came from fossil fuels and industry. No energy source is completely safe. They all have short-term impacts on human health, either through air pollution or accidents. And they all have long-term impacts by contributing to climate change. However, their contribution to each differs enormously. Before we consider the long-term impacts of climate change, let's look at how each source stacks up in terms of short-term health risks. To make these comparisons fair, we should compare them based on the estimated number of deaths they cause per unit of electricity. This is measured in terawatt-hours. 1 terawatt-hour is about the same as the annual electricity consumption of 150,000 citizens in the European Union. This includes deaths from air pollution and accidents in the supply chain. Let's look at this comparison in the chart. Fossil fuels and biomass kill many more people than nuclear and modern renewables per unit of electricity. Coal is, by far, the dirtiest. Even then, these estimates for fossil fuels are likely to be very conservative. Our perceptions of the safety of nuclear energy are strongly influenced by two accidents, Chernobyl in 1986, and Fukushima in 2011. These were tragic events. However, compared to the millions that die from fossil fuels every year, the final death tolls were very low. The other source which is heavily influenced by a few large-scale accidents is hydropower. Its death rate since 1965 is 1.3 deaths per TWh, mainly because of a single event, the Banqiao Dam failure in China in 1975. It killed approximately 171,000 people. Otherwise, hydropower was very safe, with a death rate comparable to nuclear, solar, and wind. Finally, we have solar and wind. The death rates from both of these sources are low, but not zero. A small number of people die in accidents in supply chains, ranging from helicopter collisions with turbines, fires during the installation of turbines or panels, and drownings on offshore wind sites. Looking at deaths per terawatt-hour can seem abstract. Let's try to put it in perspective. Let's consider how many deaths each source would cause for an average town of 150,000 people in the European Union, which, as I've said before, consumes 1 terawatt-hour of electricity per year. Let's call this town Euroville. If Euroville was completely powered by coal, we'd expect at least 25 people to die prematurely every year from it. Most of these people would die from air pollution. On the contrary, if it was powered entirely by solar, only every 50 years would someone die. The good news is that there is no trade-off between the safest sources of energy in the short term and the least damaging for the climate in the long term. They are one and the same. The data we saw previously do not only consider the emissions from the burning of fuels, but also from the mining, transportation, and maintenance over a power plant's lifetime. Coal, again, is the dirtiest fuel. It emits much more greenhouse gases than other sources, hundreds of times more than nuclear, solar, and wind. Oil and gas are also much worse than nuclear and renewables, but to a lesser extent than coal. Unfortunately, coal, oil, and gas still account for around 60% of the global electricity mix. If we want to stop climate change, we can transition away from them to nuclear and renewables, and also reduce deaths from accidents and air pollution as a side effect. This transition will not only protect future generations, but it will also come with huge health benefits for the current one. That is all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment to tell us how you feel about this very important topic. See you next time.